Question 191. If a request for a building variance is denied by the local planning commission, the decision can be appealed to the A. Real Estate Commissioner, B. City Council or the Board of Supervisors, C. Attorney General, D. State Supreme Court. Correct answer is B. City Council or the Board of Supervisors. Planning commissions are typically local bodies. When a variance request is denied, the appeal process remains within the local government structure. Depending on whether the property is within a city or county jurisdiction, the appeal would go to the City Council or the County Board of Supervisors. While the State Supreme Court can ultimately hear cases, appeals regarding local zoning decisions typically start at the local government level. Appeals turned down by the local governing authority cannot be further appealed to the courts or BRE. Question 192. When a notice of completion of work being done on a property is recorded by the owner, a general contractor has to file a mechanic's lien. A. 60 days, B. 90 days, C. 3 months, D. There is no deadline for filing a mechanic's lien. Correct answer is A. 60 days. When a notice of completion is recorded, it triggers a shorter deadline for contractors to file mechanic's liens. With a recorded notice of completion, the deadlines are as follows. A general contractor must record a mechanic's lien within 60 days. A subcontractor or supplier must record such a lien within 30 days. This assumes that the owner recorded the notice within 10 days of actual completion for these deadlines to apply. Question 193. When the Federal Reserve Board follows a tight money policy, the result is A. Higher interest rates, B. New home construction will rise, C. Home sales will increase, D. None of the above. Correct answer is A. Higher interest rates. Tight money policy implemented by the Federal Reserve aims to slow down economic growth and control inflation by reducing the money supply. To achieve this, the Fed often increases the federal funds rate, which in turn leads to higher interest rates across the board, including those for mortgages and other loans. The higher interest rates resulting from a tightening money market would depress home sales and construction because consumers have a harder time obtaining home loans. Question 194. Which of following are examples of negligent misrepresentation by a real estate licensee? A. An agent exaggerates the advantages of a property she is showing. B. A broker intentionally misrepresents a material fact about a listing in order to gain a financial advantage. C. A broker was not aware, but should have been, that her statement about a material fact was incorrect. D. A broker instructs a seller to lie to a buyer about a material fact in order to close a sale. Correct answer is C. A broker was not aware, but should have been, that her statement about a material fact was incorrect. Negligent misrepresentation occurs when a person makes a false statement without intending to deceive, but they failed to exercise reasonable care or competence in verifying the accuracy of the statement. In real estate, this means a licensee should have known better. Let's break down why the other options are not examples of negligent misrepresentation. A. An agent exaggerates the advantages of a property she is showing. This is generally considered puffing or sales talk, which is often tolerated. While it may be unethical, it doesn't necessarily fall under the legal definition of negligent misrepresentation. B. A broker intentionally misrepresents a material fact about a listing in order to gain a financial advantage. This is fraudulent misrepresentation, which is intentional and much more serious than negligent misrepresentation. D. A broker instructs a seller to lie to a buyer about a material fact in order to close a sale. This is also fraudulent misrepresentation and potentially criminal. Question 195. Personal property is transferred through A purchase agreement, B. Personal services contract, C. Bill of sale, D. Deed. Correct answer is C. Bill of sale. While a purchase agreement may list personal property as part of a larger transaction, it's not the document that actually transfers ownership. Personal services contract relates to contracts for services, not the transfer of property. Deeds are used to transfer ownership of real property, not personal property. Bill of sale is a legal document that transfers ownership of personal property from one party to another. Question 196. A clause in a promissory note that prohibits the borrower from paying off the loan before the maturity date is called A lockout clause, B. Lock-in clause, C. Protection clause, D. Maturity clause. Correct answer is B. Lock-in clause. Protection clause is a general term and doesn't refer to a specific clause about prepayment. Maturity clause simply states the date when the loan is due. It doesn't prohibit prepayment. Lock-in clause, sometimes used interchangeably, lockout clause, is the more standard term. A lock-in clause can also refer to locking in an interest rate. A lock-in clause is period of time written into a loan contract prior to which the borrower may not repay any of the principal. Question 197. Junior loans are usually originated by A. Commercial banks, B. Savings and loan institutions, C. Private sources, D. Insurance firms. Correct answer is C. Private sources. While banks do originate some junior loans, they typically prefer the security of first mortgages. Similar to commercial banks, savings and loan institutions primarily focus on first mortgages. Insurance firms primarily invest in more stable, low-risk investments, and junior loans are considered higher risk. Junior loans, which are subordinate to primary mortgages, are often provided by private individuals, investors, or private lending companies. These sources are more willing to take on the higher risk associated with junior liens. Question 198. Judy's will leaves her friend, Ben, the right to use, occupy and enjoy Judy's townhouse until her other friend, Gina, dies. Upon Gina's death, the home becomes the property of Judy's son. Ben is A. Remainderman, B. Life tenant, C. Tenant in common, D. None of the above. Correct answer is B. Life tenant. A remainderman is the person who receives the property after the life tenant's interest ends. Judy's son is the remainderman. Tenancy in common is a form of co-ownership where multiple people own a property. Ownership percentages can vary. There's no automatic right of survivorship, meaning a deceased owner's share goes to their heirs, not the other owners. Each owner can individually sell, gift, or will their share. All owners have the right to use the entire property. Ben has the right to use the property for the duration of another person's, Gina's, life. This is the defining characteristic of a life tenant. A life tenant must not engage in acts that might permanently damage the property, thereby harming the interests of the reversionary or remainder estate. Question 199. The elevators in a high-rise apartment building stop working, and the landlord fails to make timely repairs. The renters who live have the right to move out without liability for further rent, under the concept of A. Fraud, B. Constructive eviction, C. Inconvenience, D. Punitive malfeasance. Correct answer is B. Constructive eviction. Constructive eviction occurs when a landlord's actions, or inactions, make the premises uninhabitable or unusable, effectively forcing the tenant to move out. The failure to repair essential services like elevators in a high-rise building would likely qualify as constructive eviction. The tenants can sue to recover possession or for damages based on the landlord's breach of the covenant of quiet enjoyment. Question 200. The transfer of the entire leasehold interest in a lease from the original lessee to another party is an A. Club sandwich lease, B. Sandwich lease, C. Sublease, D. Assignment. Correct answer is D. Assignment. Club sandwich lease is not a standard real estate term. Club sandwich lease is not a standard real estate term. A sandwich lease happens when a lessee subleases the property, and then that sublessee subleases the property again. The person in the middle is in a sandwich lease position. A sublease occurs when the original lessee transfers only a portion of their leasehold interest to a new tenant. The original lessee remains liable to the landlord. An assignment occurs when the original lessee transfers their entire remaining leasehold interest to a new tenant. The new tenant becomes directly liable to the landlord for the remaining lease obligations.